Hey mamas, I fell off for a little bit. Not on purpose, but also I had a lot going on. I've had a lot going on this year, and I just want to share some lessons, some things I've learned to hopefully help some other mamas. So first, I got really sick, and I'm pretty sure it's because I was taking too much vitamin D. I got sick on Halloween, and it took me over 2 weeks to feel better, which then led me into a depression, which then impacted my sleep. So I was a mess, and I started to question like what I was doing and why. At the same time, I had picked up a freelance job doing career consulting, which I honestly love, but my energy was struggling and my mental capacity was struggling because I wasn't getting great sleep, and I felt really guilty about being sick and like sort of making a mistake that any person could make, right? This is what happens when you go online and you just buy a supplement, right? So you have to be careful. And what I realized is that I don't have to be guilty for getting sick. I am still a great mom. I don't have to feel guilty or shameful for needing help, and I don't have to feel guilty or shameful for being depressed. I have the supports in place. I have doctors in place to support me, to get me what I need. I now have that. I'm getting excellent sleep. The way that my sleep dramatically changed in like one night after I got support from my doctor is wild. But I can't do it alone, right? Also, the way that I'm really enjoying doing career coaching, it's so fulfilling to help so many people find work, especially because most of this year I've been trying to find work, right? And what it helped me to know is, which is the second lesson, is that me not being able to find a job and you not maybe being able to find a job is not necessarily saying you don't qualify, right? Let me go deeper into that. I was looking for jobs and applying for jobs based on my history, right? And the work that I've done, while never really being excited about any of the hundreds of jobs I applied for. There were maybe 10 out of the hundreds where I was like, oh, I really, like this one really lights me up. And then I didn't get an interview, the job closed, or they chose someone else. And it hurt a little bit, but it was also like, maybe I'm being led to do something else, right? I've got content creation, I've got Parent Porch, I've got Uncaped Mama that's growing. I have things to say, and I often like censor myself, right? So maybe, going a different route could work for me. And when I came across the opportunity to apply to be a career coach, I think I forgot about it, right? I like applied, I knew I was excited about it, but I assumed the job probably closed like the rest of them. When I started doing this work and then working with clients who, like all of my clients are amazing, great backgrounds, even if they're early in their career. What I realized is I was applying without a strategy, and so were they. You just throw everything at the wall, right? Now, actually, the things I'm really good at, I get to use. So I literally get to help build people's confidence. We're using strategy and a strategic plan, right, for them to follow, and it's easy. I'm giving them tips and tricks, adding on a little extra time with them when needed, especially because, a couple of them, right, our first meeting where I'm just laying the groundwork and telling them what's going to happen in our program, the same day they started getting interviews. And I feel like there was something energetically about them exchanging, feeling safe to be able to tell me what their challenges were, that allowed them to get it out, and then the opportunities were able to come in. And then as we keep working together, I'm like, no, you like are very qualified for what you're applying for, but you've also thrown in there things you should not be going after. So let's use a strategy. And it just reminded me of, I need to do the same things. I need to be strategic with my time. I need to be strategic with the projects I take on. Like, things need to be in alignment. And when things are aligned, things can flow better. Now, in the midst of all this, my son, who has autism, is still in all of his therapies. We've actually added occupational therapy and feeding therapy back on. We were also in the process of getting him into pre-K 3/4 with the special education department in the school district, potty training 2 children, and it was their birthdays. And I've been unemployed, right, with really no money coming in. And I felt a lot of guilt and shame around that. I don't care about Christmas. Personally, I have decided to cancel Christmas for a number of reasons, but I decided to join a boycott, and I I stand behind that. There's a lot of things I've been boycotting for a while because of my personal beliefs, and I have no shame about that. And at the same time, I've been reminding myself that commerce is not capitalism, right? Like people having businesses and selling things, products, services, right? That help people. That is not in itself capitalism. Commerce, the selling of things, that's not the same thing, right? And so I wanted my children to still have a great birthday. And their godparents really stepped in and showed out. My mom did. I was able to put things together, right, to get decorations. And I made my daughter a cake and decorated it. Realized that my son really likes marshmallows. And so we did like s'mores at school. Their schools are amazing. So they were able to celebrate, right? And I didn't have to stress. And I realized I don't have to be ashamed about that either, right? We were able to focus on what mattered. They got gifts. They both got a big gift for me, and then their grandparents and godparents and aunties and uncles, right, also celebrated them too. And it was amazing. And I was able to say, like, hey, here, if I could afford this, these are the things that I would get, or these are the things they need. And I let them have it, right? I let them go at it. And it reminded me of how amazing community is. On social media, everything is trying to divide you, to create competition, to tell you can't trust anybody and that no one loves you. You need to cut everybody off and all of these things. And as a mom, I would tell you that would be a very lonely place. A very lonely place. I also had to get over where I think support should come from. There's a lot of times you can get stuck in like, these particular people should support me in this way. This is what I want from them. This is what they should be doing. And the reality is you can't control anybody, even your children. The only thing you can control is yourself and your reactions to it. And going down the path of healing and deciding what is your standard, what is it that you really need, and cultivating that, right? And so I recognize that there are so many people around that love me and love my children. And I can tap into that community because it is a safe space. There's no one's judging me, right? I remember in the process of getting ready to get my son prepared for school and just, I was having a moment, right? I was feeling guilty and shame. And so I went into my kids' godparents chat and I just shared it. And they reminded me that I'm a good mom, that I made great choices when I decided that it was time to leave a place that was not healthy for me. In terms of work, I felt a lot of shame. Like, how could you do that with children, right? Just believing, knowing I can get another job and then still technically haven't found another full-time job, right? I was limiting myself. And they let me know, you chose to continue to be here for your kids. Like the place where I was quite literally making me physically and mentally and emotionally ill. Really, truly, for a while. And I just kept saying, well, I'm going to keep showing up and I'll just keep doing better, right? Even though I wasn't really doing anything wrong, right? And that's another topic for another day. I won't like really delve into that, but I'm like, I felt guilt and shame around that, and going to a community and getting that support and being built up, and then having people, that same community, right, would share jobs with me, who really, these are people who used to work with me before, right? Some for like 20 years, right? They've worked with me before. And so they know how I work. They know what I believe in. They know what I believe companies actually can do. They know that I really care about people and structure and systems and strategy, right? And I think I just needed to get to a place where this new opportunity came along. I'm also still doing some recruiting as well. And, like continuing to do Parent Porch and this work. So I wanted to make this video to let you know I'm still here. I am going to be more consistent and more of me, more authentic to who I really am. I have a lot of thoughts and opinions that I've been trying to separate into different platforms, and I really don't think that makes sense anymore. And shout out to my friend Michaela, who's been telling me this for over 1.5 years. And because, again, like, we consume content that tells you have to niche down, I was following that. And I'm like, why? Because all that does is put me in a box. And I actually don't like being in boxes. So yeah, I just want y'all to know that I'm here. I'm so much better. Still navigating grief and life without my grandma. I had a dream about her the other day, and she looked so healthy and so happy. And then she got upset because we were supposed to go get steak and my brother left us at church or whatever. But it was interesting to like sit next to her in a dream, knowing she had passed away, right? And like me being confused, I'm like, what is happening? Like, I know that she passed away. But sitting next to her and she's just talking and all this stuff. And I'm like, what is happening, right? And, you know, seeing her just like be who she is. Like when it got to the point of her yelling at my brother on the phone, I'm just like laughing. Because I'm like, first of all, why would he leave us at church? And like, second, she's talking about this steak. And I didn't know what she was talking about until I told my mom about the dream. And she's like, oh yeah, that's the steak restaurant that like my oldest cousin and my brother, they would take her. And she would love it. She loved going to her steak nights with my cousin Justin and my brother. And so that's what I feel like was coming through. And so to honor her, I ended up making Philly cheesesteak sandwiches for lunch. They were fire. Philly cheesesteak croissants. I'm not a big steak girl. Okay. Maybe once, twice a year. And I got some eggnog because I used to drink eggnog with her. I got me some more butter pecan ice cream and all the things I used to do with her, right? And it helped, but you know, it still adds sorrow. It's still very bittersweet. It's still very unbelievable to be over a year without her. And so still navigating that too. And sometimes it's hard to show up, you know, but I will be showing up. And honestly, everything might not be carefully curated and carefully edited, just like this video. I'm gonna take a picture and attach a thumbnail and get this video posted. So please like, share, subscribe, follow, comment. Let me know, how's your year been going? How have the past few months been for you? What support do you need? Do you have questions about careers and finding jobs? I'm going to set something up very soon so I can start helping more people with that on like a sliding scale type thing or donation type basis, because I know people are really having a hard time. But I believe in my ability to help you because I've been helping people for years, and just doing it for other companies or kind of on the side. And I'm ready to help people in my community and continue to build community in that way. So yeah, I'll be back next time. I'm going to talk to you all about the special education like process and what things looked like. Give you some tips on therapies and things like that as well. If you're raising neurodivergent children, or if you know that your child needs extra support, I want to be able to just, that'll probably be just like an ongoing series where I come and check back in every so often. But I want to talk about that. I want to talk about how you talk to your kids about finances, and if you choose to boycott or not spend money in certain places. And then I want to talk about my health journey. I just started working out again, and like I said, I've improved sleep and learned a lot about vitamins. So I want to be able to come and talk about that. So all of that will be coming in the next few weeks. I said I would never do a vlog, but I may do something, right, to show y'all how I celebrate my birthday. I got a trip on the books, and my birthday is in almost exactly a month, so I'm really excited to travel with my friends. So I'm gonna show you what a weekend looks like without kids. So anywho, like I said, like, share, subscribe, follow. I am Uncaped Mama on this platform, and also Instagram, Substack, and TikTok. I may actually transition everything over here. So yeah, thank y'all for following. Thank y'all for engaging, and I'll see you next time.